This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say this probably won't be one of our highest live viewership shows we've done in a while, because we decided that we were gonna go heads up against NFL opening night, and probably might be the best game of the year, because you got two amazing teams playing tonight. People are itching for football, yet here we are, the true diehard bowling fan speculators.
We're not sitting on the bench because of football. In fact, if the people don't join us, they made a mistake, because we're planning on getting in what we got to do here and then getting wrapped up in time to go watch football. Okay.
Yeah, so we know that football's on, so this isn't going to be we're not going to OT tonight. Let's just put it like that. So
yeah, it might be the quickest show in Sweep the Rack history. Brett Wilson checking in from Australia. What's up, Hoss?
I love it, mate. I love my Australians, mate. I know a couple of other Australians that bowl that are pretty good. Robert Hamilton, what's up, man? Always tune in.
He knows we're here for the people.
Dude, Nico always tuning in, man. Always the first one to comment.
Yo, let's talk about this for a second. Nico sent out a video of himself bowling. Did you catch that?
I did. Yes.
And I appreciate him sending out that video. You know, it's not always easy to put your game out there online. You know, you never know how people are going to react. But Nico, yo, check in with us through the email or through the DMs or something, man. I'll give you some pointers on how to get things a little bit straighter there, you know. But yeah, I like the game. I see you. So yeah, sending out the videos there. Keep working at it.
Get the help. Get some coaching. Get some lessons. But yeah, send an email. I'll chime in. You'll chime in. We'll give you some good pointers. You know, and hey, look, they peek out the Yankee game. Who cares about the Yankees? Come on, man. This is a Met Philly show. You see. Yankees are the last things we're thinking about, but we are aware that the football game is on because it's NFL opening night, and you could just tell at work, people are just happy and excited football's on.
Real talk.
Oh, and Mike, you know, condolences to the Queen of England, died today. That's big news.
You know, is it like, honestly, my mom called me and she was like, "Oh my goodness, the Queen died." And I said, you know, honestly, like
I don't want to piss anybody off, but I didn't even know she was still alive.
I don't want to make anybody angry either. But like,
I know.
Like, really, aren't they only just recognized because of the family they were born into? Like, to me, that doesn't seem like much of an accomplishment to recognize somebody.
I know, it's
like,
just
you were born into this family, so you get this recognition.
I know.
I don't know.
Like,
I mean,
the internet has Twitter is so savage that the posts and the memes are out of hand, and they're quite entertaining in my view. But I mean, look, like a lot of people had a lot of emotional investments in the Queen and the family, and Charlie Tapp is sad. It seems like his condolences, King Charles. But look, like we're here to talk bowling, not the Queen. But you know, look, like. It is a sad day because she is a historical figure, you know, so let alone if she, whatever the family situation was. So, Mike, all right, let's get into
Terry. No, hold on. Terry knows what it's about. He wants to know who we're betting tonight. He's sitting this one out. Couldn't decide.
Is it in Buffalo or LA?
It's Buffalo -2.5 is the spread.
Where are they playing? Is it in Buffalo or in LA?
I believe it's in LA.
Yeah, like LA doesn't even have a home field advantage. Like half the people show up to their games anyway. I mean, they're LA, so
yeah. I'm not sure where it's at. I forget. I might be wrong about that.
I'm betting the home team. I think the home team, because of the fact that they're so far from each other, West Coast, East Coast. I'm going to take the home team, whoever it is. It's a coin flip at this point.
I have a ridiculous same game parlay. $10 to win 800.
Oh, it's in LA. I'll take LA.
Okay, yeah, in LA. $10 to win 800. I need like more than 290 yards from Josh Allen passing. I need 2 touchdowns from Josh Allen. I need a rushing touchdown from Josh Allen, and I need a touchdown by Higbee, I think was the other guy I took. So if I hit all those, for $10, for $10, you know what I mean? Just to watch the game and like
you might as well
have something to root for.
You should have just gave me the $10 and let me kick you in your ass and save you.
I hear you, but you know, it's something
anyway
to root for. So okay, into the bowling. I don't really have too much to report bowling wise. My sport league folded. I'm trying to resurrect something. I sent an email out to the league this week. Let them know, I'm going to try and resurrect something starting October 4th at 7 p.m. So if you happen to be somebody who's from the local area and you listen to this and you want to come out, Bolero Hazlitt, October 4th, 7 p.m. I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. Somebody who listens to the pod reached out to me today through Twitter to, give me an example of what they do. That they've had some success with. So I'm going back and forth with them about some of the ideas. But yeah, starting October 4th, I'm going to try and do something. Until then, I'll be practicing. In the meantime, Rob, I got accused of waging jihad against the regular league bowling world and house bowling world by Jeff Rickles. Your thoughts on this? That seemed a little extreme to me.
Definitely extreme. But in this case, you are definitely on the extremist side of you against the house shot because you are so salty your league folded. It seems like even the last 2 or 3 weeks, you've been so vocal about people who bowl house shots, who bowl, the fraudulent side of the game all of a sudden. I feel like you've been slowly getting to the extremist side of it. Now, I won't use jihad. I don't know what that's all about. But I will say, like you're to the point where you're trying to draw a line. Either you're with us or you're against us. And see, that's where you're wrong because coming from someone who bowls both sides of it now, right? Even though we'll talk a little bit more about my house shot experience this past week. You could bowl both sides of the game. Now, the problem is you're mostly against the people that only bowl the one side of the game, right? So I bowl next to Jacob Buttriff every week the last 2 weeks in league, right? Josh Blanchard bowls my league. These guys are high levels. They get, right? They're on TV. They've won titles. They bowl the house shot, and they understand both sides of the game, obviously, right? Because they're on that level. What your beef is with the people who bowl only the one side of the game, don't want to learn the other side of it, don't care about the other side of it, and think they're a high-level competitive bowler.
And well, that's important. I'm glad you said that. That pretend like the fraudulent side of the game actually speaks to anything, and it doesn't. Right. And let me clarify just a little bit, if you'll let me. Because I've thought a lot about this, and I've thought about how can I. Rickles actually invited me to write an editorial on his news page.
I look forward to it. You're a great writer.
I'm going to try and get that done. I'm going to try and bang that out over the weekend and get something out there. But I'm going to clarify my thoughts a little bit here. My issue is not so much with the house shots in general. If people want to bowl on house shots, go ahead and bowl on house shots. My issue is with the bowling community in general pretending that the house shots are legitimate in some way when they're not, okay? My other issue is this, and I would love to hear your response on this because I thought about this this week in conversations with people. There's a lot of good bowlers around various different areas, right, that probably have some sort of sport league opportunity to bowl, okay?
I wouldn't say every area has opportunity. Major metros, yes.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, I had people come back to me on Twitter and say, hey, there's quite a few sport leagues out there. And you're right. I think when we talked to Chad, he gave us the numbers on that. I don't think it's a ton of them. Nonetheless, here's my thing. let's assume for a second that most areas have some sort of sport league option. All right. You know as well as I do that, most 220, 225, 230, 235, even 240 average bowlers would not choose to go bowl on those tougher conditions. All right. My beef is with that. That's where my real beef is. Like, if you really have reached that level of bowling on house, okay, your first priority, the first league you should be joining should be the league where they're bowling on something legitimate. And anything after that, okay, I'll see what I can work into my schedule. But what has happened in the bowling community is the leagues on the fraudulent stuff, because there's more teams, because there's more pot money, because there's more prize money, right? That's where the bowlers are going to go. Okay,
100%. That's what I was going to say.
But again, if those leagues took more of a priority, the opposite would happen over a short course of time. Okay, where people would chase the numbers and chase the money the other way, right? So that's really where my beef is. It's with the fact that there's guys who pretend to be really good and high level, but don't make any priority whatsoever to bowl on something challenging when the opportunity is there.
So here's where the game is flawed, right? And this is a snowball effect, okay? If I don't need to practice and I could bowl once a week and average 225 with a high performance bowling ball, then I'm going to do that, right? That's where the flaw of the game is. If I'm not averaging 225 and now let's just say I'm bowling once a week on a sport and I'm averaging 185, you're going to be forced to practice and going to be forced to get better if you want to average over 210 in a sport shot, right? Bowlers at this point, especially my age, that have families, kids, wives, full-time jobs, they don't want to spend the extra time and money to get better. Okay? That is the problem with the game. That is a huge problem with the game, because if those bowlers are forced to get better, they're going to spend more money at the pro shops. They're going to spend more money getting lessons. They're going to spend more money at open bowling, practicing. It's all snowball effect that gets more money into the sport if bowlers are forced to practice to get better. That's what happens with golf, okay? You can go to golf to any of the driving ranges on a Saturday or Sunday, and most of them are all filled to the capacity, right, of actual people trying to get better hitting golf balls, right? Bowling, you don't have
indoor golf technology, so people can work on their game in the winter.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's the difference between golf and bowling, is that golf, if you want to be a good golfer and hitting at least the high 70s, like, you're going to have to try to get better, let alone finding lessons, getting upgraded equipment, spending more money and time invested in the game. Bowling today, you don't have to spend the time and the money at your local bowling alleys to get better, because the fraud, like you say, the fraudulent conditions or the easy conditions are making 225 averages out of 185 true average bowlers, right?
Right.
And here's the thing is Tony, I want to read his comment here, because while I'm talking, I'm reading
it.
Good.
I wanted to bring it up too. Good.
Because that's their choice. You let it bother you way too much. Most people do not have the time to put being a true scratch bowler that it would take. Right. That's here. Look, like, it's not that Mike is more for progressing the game. Okay?
No, but can I say something real quick? No, Tony, you're wrong. You're flat out wrong, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm not talking about making people scratch bowlers. I'm talking about real conditions that make handicap legitimate and make it fair for most parties involved. Okay, and I'm not going to get into a longer conversation right now about why I feel that way, but I do truly feel that way. That if you make them tougher, the handicap works, and the elite bowler still has the advantage, okay? And you can make them tougher, and then people are going to want to get better.
This is what kills me, is like, this is the really mindset of the sport today, is that if people can't average 225, they're going to leave the sport.
Right.
Okay. Why is that? Why? You know why they're going to leave the sport? Because they're so used to being this 225 average bowler. Now all of a sudden they're not, and they're 185. There's that assumption that they're just going to get up and leave and quit the sport. Now, yeah, there might be a few of that. I don't know. We don't know. We'll never know. But the thing is Mike, I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to grow the sport and the integrity of the sport, right? By getting rid of all of the easy conditions and making the actual sport what it used to be, where you actually, if you bowl 300 or an 800, that was like a huge score, huge ordeal. Right now, it's a 300 every night, but
no,
I could be wrong.
Really, I wouldn't say I'm trying to get rid of that. What I'm saying is I'm trying to draw a serious distinction between that and real accomplishments in the game. I put out on Twitter earlier. Yeah, put that down for a second. We'll bring that back up. I put out on Twitter this week, Rob, that what would happen if local halls of fame said, you know what, we're not approving anybody for the Hall of Fame unless they have some sort of sport bowling credentials, right? What would happen if ball companies got 300s and 800s sent to them and said, you know what, we're not featuring things right now that were bowled on house shots. We're looking for stuff that's bowled on something on the challenge level or higher, right? What would happen if ball companies again said, oh, wait, you live in this area, you want free balls, but you haven't bowled any of these sport event opportunities in your area? No, sorry, we can't do that. We're looking for people that are really out there bowling on some real conditions. That would have a change. That would have an impact. Okay.
It would, yeah. And that's the thing is why they're not doing that is because it all comes to like membership and money. If the companies, the ball companies do that, if USPC does that, if the proprietors do that, if the local associations do that, they're afraid that they're going to lose membership. They're afraid they're going to lose money. There's a real, legit fear that it's going to cost them money, right? And it all comes down to money, Mike. These are all, private businesses to a certain extent, right?
Raise the dues to 3 times what they are if we're going to lose a bunch of people, and provide me with something for it. Certify the lanes.
These people, they get crazy when you even raise their membership $1 a year, let alone triple their membership.
People would be gone, though. Those people would be gone. Terry's saying if Chappelle's show was still around, they would add Big Mike to the skit as house shot hater of the year.
I love the Chappelle reference.
Hate.
You don't
I
hear
feel
that.
you. We always love a good Chappelle reference around here.
Let's bring up something that I thought was an interesting comment. Where is it here? Steven.
No, let's bring up your league. How about? Yeah, we wanted to get to.
I want to bring this up real quick because this is something that we deal with on a daily basis, right?
Comment from the chat. Go ahead.
Yes, Bolero's. So the comment Steven wrote was, most places you cannot practice on sport shots. I have offered to pay my Bolero center to practice on PBA patterns, and they have zero interest. Look, the Bolero is going to be continuing to acquire centers. I know I just read an article. They just acquired a lot more centers.
I read it in the villages too, in the villages in Florida. That's big down there with the bowling down there.
It's safe to say Bolero in the next 5 years is going to probably own. I don't know what the percentage is right now. I think I remember hearing that on their it's like 120 something centers maybe. Or I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to get an email from Jeff. But I know I'm very confident in saying that Bolero is going to be acquiring more centers in the next 5 years. I'd imagine it's going to be a lot of percentage of the bowling centers, right? It might end up being 10 years where they own 85% of the centers, right? Bolero doesn't care about the competitive side of the bowling, nor should they, okay? Because of the fact where they're a private company. Well, they're public, but they were private. They're trying to make money. The competitive side of the game doesn't make bowling centers money. It doesn't. Leagues make money. It gives them consistent business. Open bowling makes them money. Snack bars, bar. Competitive bowling doesn't do that. They're not going to put out patterns because it's not going to bring in people. Okay. They could put out a pattern on 2 pairs, Mike. They could promote it. Is there going to be a lot of people that are going to be running the bowling center? No. It's going to actually take probably away from their open play. And they're going to have to turn away people or, have people wait for lanes. Anyway, I am not holding my breath waiting for Bolero to accommodate the bowlers like us that want shots out. It's not happening. Okay, Mike's the race. Dude, the legend, man. That's the Brooklyn legend. Mike's the race. Wow, all the people come out of the woodwork. Anyway, so let's talk about my league.
Wait, I have one more point to make.
Okay.
I have one more point to make. And now I'm gonna oh man, am I gonna forget what the point was? Jeez.
So remember, because
all right, go ahead.
Okay, so let's get this out of the way early, okay? Because I can't wait for all the shit I'm gonna get from you. Okay. I bowled League Tuesday night. Yes, I bowled a 134 my first game. Okay, a 134. I didn't miss any spares. But there are a few reasons why I bowled 134. Okay. And I bowled 134, 212, 190. It was like 530 something. Okay. One, I was working on a couple things, right? Like trying to get ready for the tournament this weekend. Okay. I brought out a new bowling ball. The conditions were not a stereotypical house shot. It wasn't. Okay. I missed right at 2-8-10. I missed left. I split. They actually got a little bit tough. Okay. They weren't really tough, but they weren't your stereotypical house shot. Okay. That I would mostly probably average 230 on. Yes. Did I stink? Yes. No doubt about it. Okay. I threw some really bad shots. You can't bowl 134 without throwing some bad shots. I did pocket 710 on a strike, which probably would have got me somewhere close to like a 160, 170, and we wouldn't really be having this conversation. I did win 2 or 3 of my points, and as of now, after 6 games, I'm about 198 in the league. In a league that's 90% of 230, and that's a full winner league, I will take my 198 right now, considering we still are doing pretty good in the league. Okay? Next week, I feel bad for whoever bowls me because I'm going to be giving about 20-some pins a game. That being said, yes, I stunk. I live up to it. I owned it. I put it out on Twitter. We got a text message from Bill, who actually sent me the picture of my 130, who someone sent him the picture of me bowling the 130. But here's my argument to my 130. Anybody who's going to critique me on the 130, which you are, I was bowling for 15 grand the Monday morning at the Tat, okay? So before you go and talk about how I bowled 130 on a house shot, were you bowling for 15 grand on Monday morning?
Well, I mean, come on.
Okay.
Really, what it boils down to is you made a cut against a bunch of house hacks in Vegas, handicap house hacks who have next to no experience bowling on tough conditions.
Oh,
but all right.
How are you going to make that comment when you've never even shoot up to come bowl the Tat? You've never even traveled, and every time you say, I'm going to come bowl, it's always my wife ain't letting me bowl. I have something to do. I got a birthday party. I got a dance recital. Come on, man.
He's mad. He's mad at that one. Yo,
I am mad because you don't know.
All right, let me talk. Somebody put his mic on mute, will you? Somebody put his mic on mute. Who's in charge of this shit show around here? Put his mic on mute. So, do you people hear this dude? Yo, two weeks of house bowling, and he's already a stereotypical house bowler. You hear this? He's already copping to sandbagging over here. He's excited for the pins he's going to get. Did you hear him?
I'm excited for the pins.
He's like 90% of 230. Not a bad series to shoot. Come on, son.
1, 2, or 3 points.
Now, listen, I'm only coming hard at you for.
I love how people call me a patch pirate when in reality, like, guess who's drilling up a pink widow tomorrow, right? I throw all companies. I throw all staff, baby. I don't know where this patch pirate came because I get free stuff. I get free stuff. Hey, maybe.
I heard some excuses there too, Spags. I heard some excuses there for sure.
I owned it. I bowled 130. I threw bad shots. Okay. Yes, there was some excuses because why I bowled 130, but I owned it. I stunk. Hey, I was the first to admit it. I missed right at 2-8-10. Had a bad reaction. It is what it is. Anyway, so let me talk about the Tat, okay? Because that's
you did bowl good at the Tat. You did bowl good at the Tat. Good run at the Tat.
Real bowl. I made the cut after 2 squads. Bowled 650 something, whatever. Made the cut. Was 3rd in my division. The Tat was weird because this tournament it was an open division, okay, which normally doesn't happen. So anybody could bowl the open division. Okay, I am still in the amateur division. Thankfully, I've never done anything really great in my life that I could bowl the open division, okay? Still in the amateur division. There's strict eligibility to be able to bowl the amateur division. You couldn't have your card in like 3 years. Couldn't make a $10,000 check. All kinds of eligibility. So I made it. Here's my thing. I bowled the finals. I bowled it on the fresh. My urethane ball looked terrible. And everybody was throwing urethane. Everybody was throwing urethane. A lot of the new urethane. I still had my 2019 Kentucky purple. And it looked awful. I couldn't get my ball to hook right. If I missed right, it hooked early when I missed left. On that format, it's a 1-game cut. Like, you got to like find it and find it early. I bowled a really bad game. I did. Physically, I sucked. My ball reaction sucked. Look, it happens. I was completely overmatched that game. So I made the cut, which was great. That's your first short-term goal. Obviously, the long-term goals, you want to make the show, right? Because that's where the money is. I'll be back February. I'll back to the open, to bowl the amateur, but there's no open division. But here was my like biggest like observation from the tournament. All the pros always bitch, and I'm gonna be real blunt here and real transparent. All the pros on social media always bitch about not having anything to bowl except for the regionals and
not being allowed to bowl, being shut out of events.
Always hear that on Twitter and Facebook. I can't bowl this. I can't bowl that. This is bullshit. How am I supposed to make a living? You hear that, right? Finally, there's a tournament here, Labor Day weekend in Vegas, for $15,000 for first place, and you allow anybody who wants to bowl to bowl. And how many of those people do you see out there bowling that were complaining or, the entries weren't great in the open division? Okay, I saw a few people there that were bowling maybe during the week. I saw Anthony Simonson pop in for a squad or two. I saw, Buttriff Bowl made the cut. There was some really good bowls, strong-ass format. But when there's not a lot of entries, it makes it even harder to make because they only take like 1 in 8 or 1 in 6 to the finals. So if you only got 5 or 6 people bowling a squad, you're only taking one person. Nathan Bohr, who's a great bowler in his own right, never really made it as a national tour, but always was, bowling great. I think one squad was turning like 560 after 2. And these people on my pair that were bowling the open division were like, why am I even bowling the third game? I mean, fair point, right? His kid's turning 560 after 2, right? Mike, where were all the like pros? Like, where were all like the actual like where was these bowlers? You're giving them a great tournament over a weekend, over a holiday for $15,000, where one pro is guaranteed to make the TV show finals. Where are they? All the people that were bitching on Twitter and Facebook about not having shit to bowl, where were they? They were sitting around bowling local tournaments in their area for hundreds of dollars when they should fly out. And I don't get it. So my question to you is, Mike, what's the deal? Like, where were the pros? Where were these? If I was people all over the West Coast, I would have went and bowled there for $15,000 if I'm a top 25 or 30 bowler in the world. Why wouldn't I? So I don't know. That was my big observation.
I think it's a fair point to ask that, given that I agree with you that there is quite a bit of complaining, I'll say, about that particular issue of them not being able to bowl. But listen, good bowling, good run, and we know you'll be back. So okay,
this weekend, Phoenix 10K. If anybody's on the Phoenix West Coast area want to bowl, there's still, I think, openings in the late squad. 3 squads, 8-game format, Sunday match play finals. So first place $10,000.
Yeah, Robert Hamilton mentioned in the chat that Chris Fiali is running a mega buck type format tournament. I believe it's Thanksgiving weekend as well, out on the East Coast. Awesome. I haven't seen too many of the details on it, but I did see like a flyer. I didn't get to look at it very long, but yeah, it should be interesting. I don't know how far away it'll be, but yeah.
I'd love to see the format on that, to see what the difference of the format on. When you hear the word mega buck,
I know they're like on the flyer. It looked like there were several different events in the same weekend. Some sweepers, a main tournament.
I'll have Viali back. We'll have him back on the show. We could talk about the tournament.
True.
I like to hear his feedback.
Okay, let's keep it moving because football started. We wanted to comment. It's a slow. When you're going to talk about Lucas Wiseman and Jeff Rickles beefing on Twitter with each other, it's a slow news week in the bowling world. But they got into a little bit of an interesting beef this week that you and I both noticed and commented. Just sitting here enjoying the argument type post
because we weren't in it for once. So
yeah. So basically, the argument was whether Rickles claims to be.
Oh, you missed it, Matt. You got to watch the last. Sorry,
yeah, you got to rewind, Matt.
You got to rewind to 10 minutes. I went on a big rant.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, Rickles, kind of claims to be like one of the few independent journalists in bowling, right? And over the weekend, he was kind of putting out all of these ball reviews posts, right, from Storm, and Lucas Wiseman. I don't know why Lucas chooses to rattle his cage.
He's not with Flo anymore.
Right? I don't know. No, he's still with Flo. He's just not doing bowling, right? I know.
Not with the bowling.
So he kind of commented that, hey, well, how can you be an independent journalist when you're taking free equipment from this company, reviewing the equipment, and then writing articles about other things that involve this company, right? I'm paraphrasing here. This is generally his point. Well, man, did that set off some fireworks. If you don't follow them on Twitter, you should go and follow them and check it out.
It was a good one.
It was an interesting argument. I guess what it boiled down to was Jeff was claiming that Lucas is just a PR slut,
a sellout,
a PR sellout who only cares about the money and will go in any direction for the money. And to be fair, listen, like when we worked for Lucas, he when Bolero took over the PBA, he was very clear with us that hey, listen, we have to work with them and help them put the best foot forward that we can. We're a partner with them, and that's just a reality of business. Like I don't see why Jeff's criticizing Lucas for that when somebody in Lucas's position, that's what they're supposed to do. What else do you expect them to do? I mean, part of that, do you really expect the ESPN to bash the NFL for something, all the time? Because that's not going to happen. They're partners. They have a working relationship. So there was an argument and a back and forth. I gotta say, I saw Lucas's point. I did. I don't know how you can have that kind of relationship with a ball company. Get free equipment, despite Jeff's excellent resume for bowling. He's definitely somebody that deserves the free equipment. But to then say, well, I'm independent of everything else. Well, I don't know about that. There's a relationship there, and there's other issues that go on in the bowling community, especially of late, that involve these ball companies versus other ball companies. We're not getting into it, but I kind of saw where I can see the conflict there a little bit. Rob, thoughts?
I tend to agree with you, Mike, here, because I would be the first person to disagree with you. I think, and I say this with utmost respect to some of example would be I'm thinking about it trying to compare it to another sport. Imagine if independent journalist who is sponsored by Titleist that is writing articles for golf, and all of a sudden there's a lot of big news stories that come out where about equipment, and then you're talking about these stories, but in reality you're sponsored by Titleist. I don't know. Yes, there is. What I'm trying to say is, there is a
little conflict of interest.
A little bit of conflict of interest.
Yeah, there's a connection there. Bias. You can't just say there's no connection there when there's a connection there.
You can't write an article essentially bashing Storm, because essentially if you do, you're going to lose your contract. So that's kind of where
you might not. You might not, but you're probably not going to go down that road.
No, you're not.
You're not going to. Because you have that relationship, right?
Right. So that would be like us being if we were still sponsored by Flow Bowling, or they were giving us money, and then Flow having a shit service, and then us criticizing Flow for putting a bad service when they were giving us money, we probably wouldn't go down that road, right? Like it's the same thing, and I hate to use this too. I might get a little bit of heat for this, but Beef and Barnsey, right? Stu is sponsored by RotoGrip. Chris is sponsored by Global 900.
But they don't. But hold on a minute.
They're not.
Go ahead. You can say it.
But will they? But if Storm and Roto or Global did something wrong or bad in the bowling community, would they go down that road? They probably
I don't know. But here's what I was going to say. I think they're a little bit. They don't claim to be independent. They're clearly sponsored by these companies. They wear the shirts on the show. And I know Jeff goes to lengths to declare his relationship with who he works with as well. But I'm saying that it's a little bit more transparent, right? It's a little bit more transparent in that case to me, because you already associate those guys with these companies, right? Bass Hog Live. I believe it's Mark Jeffries on there anyway. Asking who the best ball review person is that is not getting any equipment. I don't know if there are any. Like, I want to say Jeff, your brother.
I'm biased to my brothers.
He says, "Oh, I'm not, unbiased opinion." But let's be honest, he's got to be getting the balls for free.
No, I mean maybe, but here's the thing: is like, I don't know if
Jeff are you getting the balls for free, Jeff?
I don't think even if like I don't know if he's going to be the first person to say, "Hey, this ball's really bad." You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that to me would be the real unbiased ball review videos, where I would bring a new release, drill it up, throw it for an hour, and then be like, "Man, this ball sucks." I wouldn't drill it. I don't think he would go down that road, because you're going to piss a lot of people off, right? I feel like if I did the ball review videos, I don't think I would even do that, because I have a lot of friends in bowling ball companies. I don't do the ball review videos, right? Because I don't think I could be unbiased, because I still don't want to piss off friends of mine in bowling ball companies, because the bowling community is so small, right? And it's so easy to piss people off. So, I mean, we could talk hours about this, but
my worst of the week has to do with ball videos this week, so I'm going to save some comments for the worst of the week. All right, let's move forward. We just read earlier before we came on the air that there was a little bit of news in college bowling and Team USA world. Brian O'Keefe got sanctioned by the USBC collegiate section. Rob, am I summarizing this right, that he was sanctioned for some sort of recruitment violation, where he contacted a player that was not in the transfer portal unknowingly he did this, and he accepted a punishment from the USBC, which was no recruitment contact for like 150 days, right? It doesn't affect his role with Team USA. I mean, honestly, from what I read, it seemed to be an honest mistake, and he copped to it. It didn't really seem to be that big of a deal. I don't know how much of a penalty that is, the 150 days of no recruiting. I don't know how deeply that affects things, or when the hot season is for recruiting in college bowling. But nonetheless, just something we wanted to touch on, just something that we wanted to put out there. Again, I just want to USBC once again.
It amazes me that it's actually recruiting these days.
It amazes me that they even like stay on top of stuff like that. Like
there was zero recruiting back in
the bowling world, but we care about somebody contacting somebody outside of the transfer portal. Like, dude,
back when I was 17,
football transfer portal, and
I love it. When I was 17, I was sending VHS tapes to coaches, right? Like,
word up.
Nobody was recruiting. Maybe the only coach that was recruiting was maybe like, I don't know, Wichita, or maybe like Nebraska. Anybody else, we recruit by word of mouth. I recruited Bill O'Neill. I called him up. I said, "Bill, what are you doing right now?" "Nothing." "Come to Saginaw Valley." "Okay." That was
he was going to community college.
Could you imagine
community college?
Could you imagine the recruitment that would go on to someone like Bill? Even me, I would probably have been really high recruited out of high school, but I mean,
yeah, but is there really a lot of recruiting? Because like, there's only, it seems like, a handful of schools that these top bowlers are choosing from. You know?
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like look, the best bowlers want to go to the best bowling programs, and I don't blame them. I was the same way. I wasn't going to go to some bowling program that maybe I knew that I would have had a team that maybe would not even make national championships. But I just think it's cool that they actually have a recruiting. But
true. All right, let's go. Worst of the week. Let's do it. You want to go or you want me to go?
Yeah, I want to go because it's not really a specific post. It's just the USBC is just hitting on all cylinders lately. My worst of the week is going to the USBC social media department. From my beliefs and speculation from Jeff Riggles, who posted that the USBC social media got hacked. And there was someone posting on their social media. Now, this actually could have been them, but I doubt it. Some of the posts were really funny. I'm pretty sure they have already taken them down. But they were trolling fans. They were putting up some posts about when USBC membership goes up and how fans are reacting. It was a pretty funny read on social media. So yes, my worst of the week goes to the USBC social media department for getting hacked. And the best of the week goes for the person that actually hacked the USBC media.
Who knows if it was hacked, though? Maybe the person behind it decided to go in like the Wendy's direction.
Maybe.
And just start beefing with people online. All right.
But it was funny. It was a good one. So
here's my worst of the week. Mine's kind of a general one, too. I go on YouTube and Instagram. They're always like suggesting videos for me. So one of the videos that constantly comes up is this guy, Louis Napolis.
Oh, I know Louis.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm friends with him.
And he does all these ball videos.
They're not bad. They're pretty good.
Dude, it's all on house stuff, though.
Yeah, it is.
It's all on house stuff. I recently went on social media, and I hit him up and was like, yo, dude, let's see some ball videos on something challenging to really see what the ball does. And you want to know what he said to me? He said, the vast majority of people bowl on house. Why would I cater to the minority? Worst of the week, bro. Worst of the week, bro. Sorry.
Fair point. How is he wrong, though?
No, because the real reason is, let's be honest, the real reason is if you did ball videos on actual patterns, every ball would look like shit. That's the real reason.
So before we close up worst of the week, I need to beg. Where was the league that you folded, the sport league?
Bolero Hazlitt.
I'm my beg of Bolero Hazlitt right now. Please, for the love of God, get the sport league back. You are so freaking salty that this sport league folded. You are going at everybody for bowling at house shots. Bolero Hazlitt, please.
I'm going. I'm not. No. So you're wrong. You're gonna cause trouble by saying that. I'm not going at everybody for bowling on house shots. I'm going at the frauds who pretend to be elite level bowlers who avoid bowling on real conditions. That's who I'm really going at.
You went at a ball review video guy because he does it on the house shot.
He's getting free equipment. He's got his name shirt on. He's sponsored. Bunch of YouTube followers. Probably making money off of that. And listen, like, bowl on the reel then, son. Let's see something on the reel. Like, that's, we all, a lot of us out there watching know, like, well, every ball is going to look good on this nonsense. It don't matter what ball you throw. And they all look the same. Okay?
What about if I did a ball review video on a tough shot?
I should do one. I'm telling all the balls would look terrible.
I'm going to do it.
They would all look terrible.
I'm going to have B3 put out like a 4-foot pattern. And I'm going to throw all the high performance stuff on a 34 pattern. And then I'm going to throw a urethane ball. And I'm going to show everybody, here's the reason why urethane is so prominent.
There's probably some PBA guys who put out ball videos and they're bowling on something tougher. But that's not, that's not to say because their margin for error is much less than someone like me or you.
Well,
Whereas if I go out and I do a ball video on some kind of pattern, when I miss, what you're going to see is it doesn't matter what ball you're throwing unless you can generally hit the same thing that you're looking at.
And here's the thing,
and that's what's missing from bowling, people.
Well,
Sorry.
here's the thing is the reason why people doing the ball review videos won't do it on a sports shot is because obviously the ball review videos, especially if you're on staff, you want it to strike. You want the ball to strike, right? You want to sell the ball, right? That's why they're patch pirates.
Mike Barron says, "What's the real conditions going to do for a person watching?" Okay, Mike, if the person who's producing the video knows a bit, okay, and they're bowling on some varied patterns in their ball videos, you would actually be able to explain or show somebody why playing the lanes one way with a particular ball works on a particular pattern versus why it doesn't work on another pattern, or why you have to use a different ball and play a different part of the lane.
Chris, who came in late, who are we bashing right now? The same thing Mike's been bashing for the past 3 weeks.
Fire here.
The same thing he's been bashing for the past 3-4
weeks. Bashing the frauds
years.
Who pretend to be elite level bowlers.
People
and hide from bowling on the real conditions.
Have you read some of the YouTube comments of the last week, man? People are on you too about a lot of the bashing of the sport.
I haven't. I don't read the comments. I don't read the comments.
Don't ever do it because the people are not liking you bashing. Anyway, all right, people. Football's on.
Listen,
I know Mike's
if you average 225 or higher, and you all you're sitting out on anything but house. Sorry, Hoss. I just don't. I just one more story before we go into our final thoughts here and wrap up worst of the week. I'm not going to name this person, but there's somebody who was bowling the sport league, and the sport league folded, and there was another league that bowled next to us every year that we bowled. Okay, it was like a 4-person league, mixed league, 4-person mixed. Okay, Rob, ladies throwing plastic balls down the middle of the lane. Okay, like grandma style. All right, just a little swing between their legs and the ball's rotating backwards down the lane. Okay,
yeah, I love it.
Dudes with no clue out there, straight ball right down the middle. Okay, having a few beers, having fun, and I'm all about that. But here's what I don't understand: how does that guy who I'm talking about, who probably averages 220, okay, bowl the sport league for a series of years, okay? And then when the sport league folds, he joins that league and goes to that league. And now you're bowling with Mamma Mia, and she's rolling. I mean, come on, guys. Are you fucking serious?
Sometimes people just want to bowl.
People? That's really what you want to bowl. One of the biggest house leagues around here is Sunday mornings. I go in there. People, old ladies rolling the ball down, and then you got 240 average dudes, hooking the whole lane. I'm like, this is really what you want to bowl against?
Some people just want to have fun. They don't want to be pulling their hair out of their head for 2 hours.
And I'm okay with that. But
no, you're not.
Yes, I am. The people who want to have fun should go have fun. And the people who are doing it to a serious manner should progress to doing it in the more serious conditions. I'm done for tonight. I want to go watch
Bolero Hazlitt. Get this kid's
Jesus,
back.
I can't believe we went 50 minutes tonight. Wrap it up, will you?
They pissed in your Cheerios, Bolero.
Oh, my God. Chris is in the chat. I hope you're messing with me, Chris. He said we had a no-tap sweeper on house with handicap. Oh my God, Chris, are you playing with me, son?
Christian, man, good. See, people following along with my bowling
adventures.
Made the cut, lost the first round because I stink and I'm a donkey. But I have a 10K tournament this week, and I'm gonna go practice the B3 tomorrow. And drill up a new urethane ball because that's what I was very much lacking on my finals. So, yeah, that's my final thought. Bowling this weekend. Let's go Jets. Looking forward to start the season 0-4 on the Joe Flacco. Be another top 5 pick for us. And then we'll be rebuilding and have another great offseason because we're the offseason dynasty champs. Let's go Jets. Jets.
All right, my final thought is, to me, big news in the bowling world. I heard that our guy, Bill O'Neill, for the first time in a long time, is suiting up to bowl a regional.
That's big
That's what
news.
I heard. Bill O'Neill back on the regional circuit. You heard it here first. Sweep the rack. Breaking news. Okay.
I'm bowling regional 2 weeks too, so maybe.
Guys, have a good one.
All right,
enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you next week.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.